How is it going, everybody? And welcome to the Shula Bowl podcast. And what do you want me to say? We've made it. We have made it to the actual Shula Bowl version of the Shula Bowl podcast. What a blessing this is. I am Jake Gibson, joined alongside our two representatives. Both Kevins are on the call this time around. How are y'all doing, my friends?
Ready to watch the streak end.
Oh, it's so funny. Again, that little brother has opinions, like I said before the show started, because I would just like to remind everyone, the Shula Bowl trophy has kind of had permanent residency in Boca Raton for quite a while here. So I would just like that to be mentioned before we start. I'm ready for the streak to continue because it feels like I haven't had enough. I'm ready for one more, at least.
Well, okay, all right. Trash talking aside, to start this episode off, it is nice to talk to you all in one episode again instead of these separate recordings. It feels like it's been a hot minute since then. But we have a fun episode ahead of us just talking a bit about FIU's loss to Penn State, FAU's win to Florida Atlantic, and then, of course, the matchup. But before that, I have a question I want to ask the both of you about the rivalry itself, because that's what this podcast is about. It's about the Shula Bowl rivalry. So it's a very simple question I have for you guys. You can answer it however you want. We'll start with Kevin Fielder this time around. What does the Shula Bowl rivalry mean to you?
Jeez.
I know they say this all the time. I would rather go 1-11 and beat FIU than go 11-1 and lose to FIU, because truth be told, right? Like, I don't like FIU. I don't have anything against the university. I don't have anything against the people at the university. I don't have anything against you two. There's a reason why I'm here. I have an issue with the football team, and that's because I attended Florida Atlantic University, and I graduated from Florida Atlantic University. And this game means something. Like, I don't like the people who try and say this isn't a rivalry, because this is a rivalry. This means something. Like, this is a game that you got to win, man. Like, this is a must-win game. I don't care if it's week 3. Like, this game means something. And so I don't like the FIU football team 1 week a year, and that's this week. After this week, I'll be cool with everyone who's an FIU football fan, including you two, including the previous co-host, David Hondel. I love you guys. This week, I'm not a big fan of you guys.
You know what? Everything you just said, except I hate FAU. So, but the difference is I hate them from game 1 to game 12. Yes, you said it. It's been little brother, big brother. Fair enough. But there's one thing to note. It's 2 new head coaches. I think it's the 3rd time in the history of this rivalry that it will be 2 new head coaches in their first years facing off each other in the Shula Bowl. We had Lane Kiffin, Butch Davis, and then we had, I believe at one point, an interim head coach for FAU against, I think it was Ron. You're going to have to remind me this one, Jake. I think it was Ron Cooper, Ron Turner, the first Ron that was at FIU as the head coach. So I feel like it's 2 new teams too. Like, it's like FAU returns 30-something% production. FIU returns 45. So like it's 2 new teams, but the meaning of the Shula Bowl, this is a must-win game, like for both teams. Like, you look at their conference schedules, it is not easy. I mean, I know FAU has to face the Tulanes, ECU, Navy, I believe it is, that they have to face, Memphis. Like, it's not an easy schedule. And for FIU, Jake, there's like Liberty, Sam Houston, who's not being very good, Jack State. You have to go on the road to Western Kentucky. So if you want to scrap out 6 wins and make a bowl game, you have to win the Shula Bowl to find, in this case, it would be 4 more wins. So I hate FAU this week more than any other team in the country, and I need FIU to win, and I think they have a good shot at doing it. And I know I was listening to the pod that Mr. Fielder here did with Robbie LaSalle, and they give FIU their props. So I will give FAU their flowers too. They're a better team. I like Zach Kittley as a coach, but I'll leave it at that.
Zach Kittley might be Zach Kittley, but he's no Scotty Walden, right, Kevin?
Exactly.
Shout out Scotty Walden.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of this, if you didn't know this.
It always boils back down to Scotty Walden.
Sure.
For Mr. Kevin Barral. So let's get into talking about these 2 teams and where they kind of rank up with each other as far as getting into this matchup. So pretty similar paths that both teams took to get here. you lose to a Big Ten opponent, and then you murk an FCS team specifically from the SWAC. So I'll ask you both this question again. Whoever wants to go first, open it up. Who's more ready to take on the opponent for this game? Is FIU, after walloping Bethune and putting up a pretty good fight against the number 2 team in the nation, more ready than Florida Atlantic, or the Owls, who put up a solid performance early on against Maryland and then had their way against FAMU, more ready to take on the Panthers?
I don't think I know you want the answer to the question, and if you're going just based off of momentum, FAU probably has more momentum because they won. I don't think any of that matters. I think that this game has proven in the past that if there was ever a game on both these team schedules where just anything happens and it's either the craziest football game you've ever seen or it's like a 50-point blowout in a game where it shouldn't be a 50-point blowout, this is that game. I think that this is truly the one game on the schedule where you can just win the game regardless. And I think truthfully, that's what this is. It's just it's a game that doesn't matter what happened in the first 2 weeks. Doesn't matter what happened last week. Doesn't matter. This is going to be the game where it's just going to be whoever wants it more. Whoever comes out and executes more on offense and defense and just wants it just that little bit more. And that's what I love about this game. Is it doesn't matter who has more momentum. It doesn't matter who's feeling better, who's feeling worse, because when those two teams play each other, there's real want to win this game. There's real passion. There's real competitiveness. And so I don't know if there's truly an answer as to who feels better heading into this game.
And to be fair, you could even make the case both teams have pretty good momentum going into this game. FIU just played Penn State up to the fourth quarter of that game, right? I mean, their starters did not come out until the very last drive of the game. FIU was trailing 10-0 at the half. FAU coming out guns blazing against the FAMU team that just doesn't seem to be the same ones we've seen in years past, with obviously under Willie Simmons. But Caden Belkin, I think, threw 5 touchdowns and had himself a very nice game against the team that they should have beat. They should have crushed, and they did. So I think both teams a lot of momentum going into this one. Willie Simmons, and we're talking to Julius Pierce, and he's just I don't need a lot of motivation for this game. I've played this game before. Julius Pierce is one of the lone guys on this FIU team that's played this game more than twice, and he's never won, obviously, but I think he has the motivation. There's a glass trophy case in there that is empty. It's been empty since 2020. They brought it in 2024, and it's still empty, unfortunately. But they're hoping that they can light it up after Saturday's game, and there's a trophy in there, right? So, I think both teams have quite a bit of momentum going. I'm sure FAU had a great crowd in their home opener. Zach Hitley got his first win as the head coach of FAU. Willie Simmons just, gave his team a lot of credit. So did James Franklin. FIU played a really nice game defensively. Still some questions offensively, especially with Keewan and what he's looked like those first 2 weeks. But I think there's, these are two teams now that are going to play each other, and they couldn't be more similar on paper than ever, right? These are two teams that, in my opinion, are pretty close to the same exact type of team, same road, as you mentioned, Jake. They recruited South Florida heavily through the transfer portal and the recruiting class. So this is going to be a very close game, and the betting odds already show it, right? So I think there's a lot of momentum for both teams. There's no real certain team where it's maybe this one has a little bit more.
Mr. Fielder, did they dunk Hitley with Gatorade after the win against FAMU?
I don't quite remember. I believe they did, but also it's his first game. I feel you have to do it eventually, right? You win your first game, you win your first home game, man. I get the jokes. It's someone's Super Bowl, man, but I'll do it. I'm down for it. I hope FIU did it when Willie Simmons.
You know what? I'm curious about this. This is what I want to know. Both of their first wins came against an FCS team. Willie's one that he's played for quite a bit. Do you feel that should count because it's an FCS team? This one, if, for example, they win this one, this is more important, right? Not just because of the rivalry. If it was any FBS team, I kind of feel that would mean a little more, with the Gatorade dunks and all that stuff. You beat an FCS team that you were favored by a million points to beat. You should have beat them. Yes, you deserve the game ball. You deserve some recognition for it. But I feel this one, or for example, if FIU was playing Delaware instead of FAU, that would mean a little more. It's an FBS team. It's an actual team that's up to your standards.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, right? Like, it's the first game you beat FAMU, who you were supposed to beat. Like, that's not impressive. The way they won might be impressive, but you're supposed to win that game. I will just say, I think when a guy wins his first head coaching game, like gets his first win as a head coach, man, you should celebrate the little things. Like, I hate this idea that like you can't celebrate when a team wins their first game. You can't celebrate when a head coach wins his first game, right? Like, I don't have any issue with it. I wouldn't have had any issue with it if FIU did it. I probably would have thrown some jokes on this podcast about it because that's what I'm here to do. Let's just be clear. But like, also deep down, I wouldn't have cared. Like, I think that it's cool when you celebrate the little things, right? Like, yeah, it's FAMU, it's Bethune-Cookman. You're supposed to win those games. Still have to go out there and win those games. FCS teams have certainly beaten FBS teams this year, so there's always a chance it doesn't happen.
Yeah, we can't talk about last year. Yeah.
No, leave nothing on the table in this episode today, Mr. Baral.
You're right.
I just took a shot at our own team.
You're right. I would like to remind everyone on this episode that last season, the Florida International Panthers lost to Monmouth at home. An FCS team, by the way. Just feel like that should be brought up, Kevin. I didn't want to bring it up, but you brought it up. So
hey, and you know what? I'm here for it. So.
But it's two different coaching staffs now, so it's fine that we can make.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Herman got fired mid-season, right? So
you're not wrong.
And they only won 3 games
after really bad performances too. Let's just be clear. Like, I'll also dunk on FAU last year. None of that was good.
That was terrible. All right,
God, I love being the neutral host here. I mean, you see me rocking the marina. I was going to rock the two.
We know who your side is.
I am the neutral host.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I have another open question here for the both of you, and unfortunately, it's some bad news. I'm looking at the forecast on Saturday, and looks like rain might be coming our way to Pitbull Stadium in Sweetwater. Hopefully, no lightning. Just pray to God, no lightning. But there might be rain as that game progresses. Who gets the advantage there?
I don't know. I mean, I think FIU's run the ball pretty well, to my surprise, the first couple weeks. Not sure where FAU stands in terms of their run defense, but they're going to be pounding the ball quite a bit. And I know Kitley's a guy who's more of an explosive plays type of coach where you're going to make some take some deep shots. So maybe, I mean, I'm going to be biased, but like maybe FIU has a little bit of the advantage here on this one. Got 3 guys who they believe are all starting running backs: Owens, Carey, and Lyons. And, those 3 guys were maybe one big break away from really putting up some points in that Penn State game. So you look at that, you look at what they did in the Bethune game. I really take a lot of that game with a grain of salt, but yeah, I got to think FIU has a little bit of the advantage. I know FAU ran the ball very well against FIU last year, but those are 2 different teams. And FIU struggled to stop the run in week 1, but they did pretty, in last year I meant, but like they did pretty well against Penn State to stop it for the most part, right? Like it was really up until the end of the game where they really exploded on a couple plays. So I'll go FIU with the edge, but I know Fielder will probably say FAU.
Actually, I won't, because
wow, all right, we can agree on something.
I mean, if there's rain, like it's going to be the team that can run the ball better. And the truth is, FAU's running game has been inconsistent, and it's been some good plays, it's been some bad plays. They're a team that wants to throw the ball. So if it's a ton of rain and the balls are slippery and you're unable to get that momentum, that definitely favors FIU. I will say, because I will make every part of this a little bit biased, FAU's run defense has been really dang good. So even if it is a game where both teams have to run the ball, I feel pretty confident about FAU's ability to stop the run. Because they did against Maryland. They obviously did against Bethune-Cookman. Like, this is a really good run defense. And so if this game is one that has to turn into both teams trying to establish the run a little bit more, FAU does have an advantage in the run defense category, but FIU's got better running backs than FAU does. That's just a fact.
Some good points there to be made. Now we can just forget that question even happened if we somehow get lucky and then we get rays of sunshine, maybe a rainbow there, just to really set the mood. So let's go into last week for both these squads, starting off with Mr. Kevin Barral talking about FIU and their loss to Penn State. But that defense, you mentioned it, 10 points at the first half. Woo, my goodness, what was clicking for them? And what are you noticing about FAU's offense that you think that the Panthers could take advantage of based on what you saw against a Big Ten opponent?
Yeah, I think FIU really set the tone early, right? Like they went in there. First drive on offense was a little rough. Obviously, just get to the end zone, but go for it on fourth down, which like I'll appreciate the aggressiveness, but I think there's cases where you just got to take your points. And I think that was one of those situations. I know special teams has been a little bit of a struggle for FIU those first 2 weeks with the block punt in the second game. First game, Sequan Jean-Pierre had the muff punt. You had a pretty bad field goal miss, but I think you should have taken the points there regardless. But FIU on defense set the tone pretty early. I mean, they turned over on downs in the first drive, and then you had the blocked field goal. You kept Drew Allard not looking like a number 1 overall pick in the draft. Like, they made him look human, to be honest with you. So you take that a lot. And then you have Johnny Chaney. You have, what's his name? Josiah Taylor, who looked really nice in that game. Chaney, who had, I believe, a sack. They sacked Allard twice. So they stopped that well. Unfortunately, just one big explosive play really screwed it up for FIU with the long touchdown pass. Ashton Levels did not look great there, got mossed, but there's not much you could do there in those type of situations, right? So overall, you'll take it like 34-0. You could have even made the case like, last play, kind of running up the score a little bit, which I think for Penn State, you 100% want to do that to not make it look as bad as it seemed for them. But I think that, like Willie noted it in the weekly availability, like there were moments where like this team could play with anyone in the country, especially in the first half. Like they had again, I remind you all, Penn State did not take out their starters until the very last minute or two of the game. So I'm not like, if they have any if there's any type of game to give themselves a confidence boost in front of 110,000 people at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley, one of the more hostile environments in college football, that was pretty great, right? The performance, I think offensively could have been a little bit better. They ran the ball well once again, but Kiwan just, I don't know, it hasn't really been clicking for him in the passing game. I think it's still kind of working itself a little bit. And I think now when you play an opponent that's kind of up more, to your level in the group of 5 and FAU, you're going to find yourself in a probably better situation where maybe Kiwan's going to be able to pass it up a little bit more and get it going a little bit, find those explosive plays that I think we want to see. We still have yet to see. And it's also just figuring out who are gonna be your guys, right? I mean, in the first game against Bethune, FIU threw 13 different guys, 13 different players recorded a reception. Game 2 was kind of the same thing. It really wasn't until the very end. I mean, Ross Fournay led the way with 3 receptions, but those all came from Joe Pizanski, the backup, right at the end of the game. So there really wasn't a clear passing game going for FIU in that game. So I'm kind of just like, all right, I think it'll maybe click hopefully in this one, and I think Willie doesn't have any concerns yet with Kiwan. So I feel fine where FIU was at after that Penn State game. Obviously, I mean, 34-0, you'd hate to lose the game, but the guys felt confident. They're like, if we could keep up with Penn State the way we did, we could keep up with any team in the country or any team in, I guess in this case, Conference USA and UConn. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I think it was a good weekend for FIU. Just looking at it, you don't want to say you had a moral victory, and I'm not going to say that, but you have to feel excited with the way that Willie kind of injected life into that program and into these guys just in 2 weeks of play.
Moral victories are all fun and games until you look at the your schedule and say that you still get a loss that can affect your chances of in getting into a bowl game. Mr. Fielder, 2 questions here. Number 1, what's the appeal of those upside down caps that spell out words that are 90 degrees the other way? And number 2, talk a bit about Veldkamp and how he looked against that FAMU defense. 309 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Definitely a breath of fresh air after what happened against Maryland. What was cooking for that offense? And Kevin gave a synopsis on Kevin Barral gave a synopsis on FIU's defense. But what are some parts of that you think Veldkamp can pick on Saturday?
To answer the first question about the hat, I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. And I can't find any of my other hats. So it's the only hat I had. So we're wearing this hat. Also kind of matches the color of the hoodie. So it works. Now to
St. Louis Cardinals hoodie?
It is the St. Louis Cardinals hoodie. I went to St. Louis this year. Hoodie looked cool. So I bought the hoodie. Now I'm wearing the hoodie. To answer the second question, or arguably the more pressing one, the more important one, life is a lot better when you can win 56-14, go up 39-0 to start a game. If you had asked me which game I would rather be replayed 100 times for the rest of my life, it would be this one than what happened in week 1. I'm just going to be honest. I thought that Caden Veldkamp looked really good. I thought he had a little bit more of an understanding of the offense. And Jake, I think we had talked about this on last week's episode, right? Like the biggest thing I wanted to see was a better control, a better understanding of the offense. And I thought he did that. He threw for 5 touchdown passes. He had 2 in the first quarter, including a really nice pass to Asad Wasim for a second touchdown this season. I think that they spread the ball around really well. They got production from multiple receivers, Wasim, Dom Henry, Easton Messer, right? Like they were able to spread the ball around, have multiple guys get involved. They ran the ball effectively. I get it was FAMU, but they ran the ball effectively, and that's encouraging. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they just kind of kicked butt. And, we talk about these games against FCS opponents, against weaker competition. The first thing you look for is, can you just kick butt? Can you just win the game the way you're supposed to win it? And both teams kind of did that, right? Like FIU did it in week 1. FAU certainly did it in week 2, right? Like just kind of kicked butt. The game was never close. The defense made plays. They created pressure. They got FAMU behind the sticks. They were able to take a huge lead. Loved seeing the special teams come up with a blocked punt for a touchdown. As a firm believer in special teams makes special teams, I'm a little excited that the special teams was able to create some plays, create a little bit of a havoc, and put their name on the score sheet. And so from a total perspective, that was about the perfect mood shift, vibe change that you could have if you were FAU, because what happened in week 1 left a sour taste in my mouth. It left a sour taste in other people's mouths. This game doesn't leave that taste, man. You left this game, you're feeling great. No one got hurt. Everything looked great. Like it gives you the perfect stepping stone vibe-wise to head into week 3 against Little Brother, the team down south, the team that you need to beat. And so I think that like this is the perfect stepping stone for FAU in terms of just being able to win a game the way you're supposed to win it, prove that there's proof of concept to what you preached in the offseason. We'll see if it means something when you play a team in the same division level in terms of group of 5. But from just a pure sense of like, does it feel good to beat FAMU? It feels great to beat FAMU. I wish we beat FAMU like that every time we played them because it just feels good to win a game like that sometimes.
Any responses you want to make, Mr. Baral? He keeps mentioning that little brother tidbit.
Let him mention it. There's no reason I have to rebuttal, right? They've lost 7 in a row. How can I say? But on Saturday, if clock hits 0 and FIU's up, I mean, the script changes.
If that happens, I may not be allowed on this podcast next week. So I've said some things I can't quite take back in terms of the school down south.
It's going to be clipped.
It's going to be clipped, huh? Alrighty then. So Mr. Fielder's confident that the Owls got out of there with no injuries, so they're going to be all set to go against the Panthers. But the same can't really be said for FIU with Percy Courtney Jr. being out, one of their top guys on defense. But then you bring in Josiah Taylor, and he's in just one game in Happy Valley of all places, he looked calm, collected, and a leader on that defense. Talk about the impact you expect him to make against the Owls specifically.
Yeah, tough with Percy. Was out for the Penn State game. Seems like he could have maybe gone this week, but they kind of just want to save him up for conference play, see what happens there. And they feel good about Josiah. They love Josiah Taylor. I mean, the staff believes this could be their best linebacker in about a year once Johnny Chaney's gone and they have to play him. So they love him. They think he's really good. He flew around the field, made some great plays, and he's a big dude. And he played as a true freshman last year too, primarily on special teams. Had the block punt against UTEP. So he's a nice player. I really like what I've seen from Josiah. Put up some great numbers in high school, and he remembers what FAU did after the game. He said he clearly remembers them stepping on the FIU side of the helmet, ripping it off, and he's not gonna forget that. And he noted in his press conference about Easton Messer. He says if they could stop Easton Messer, it's going to be a long night for the Owls offense.
Wait a minute. How is Mr. Fielder? How is FAU treating this matchup? And to provide some perspective, FIU is not referring to FAU as FAU because that's not nice. That's not what they want to be called. They're not referring to them as Florida Atlantic either. They're just referring to them as them. that little
That team
school
up
from
north.
Boca. What's
Yeah,
going
the
on
little
at
team,
Boca?
yeah.
Is it the same thing?
Not really. It feels a little weird, and if I'm being honest, I kind of love the way FIU is handling this. Like, embrace it, man. That's the little school from Boca. You guys are the little school from Sweetwater. Like, I love this part, man. Like, it's the thing that makes college football rivalries great is that, like, it's playful, fun little jabs at each other, right? Like, FAU's trying to kind of subdue this a little bit. They're kind of trying to say it's just another game, right? Like, obviously, they understand that this is a rivalry. They understand that this is a big game. Zach Kitley has said that, like, obviously they need to win this game, but they're not going out there, like, making it seem like it's the biggest game on the schedule, even if it is. And it's the biggest game on the schedule for both teams, right? Like, this is the biggest game for both teams for a reason. And so Zach Kitley may not be saying that it's a big game. So I'll say it for him. This is a big game. This is a game that means something to both fan bases. This is a game that, like, I'm sure both coaches understand. This is a game that means something to both fan bases. This is a game you got to win. Like, as I said at the beginning of the show, this is a game you got to win. So while Zach Kitley may not be, hyping this up, may just be saying it's another game, I'm not so sure it's just another game. I don't think this has ever been just another game. And for all, if you have a different opinion, like, feel free to chime in. I don't think this is just another game. I think this is the Shula Bowl, and it should be treated as such.
Yeah, I was a little shocked to see Kitley kind of downplay it the way he did, and maybe he isn't, internally, right? But he kind of downplayed it. I listened to it, like, I had to listen to it a couple times to make sure, like, all right, like, maybe I missed something. Like, no, he is kind of just treating this like any other game, and he kind of made that pretty clear. It's about his team, about that moment where his team is, and he referenced his team quite a bit. Willie Simmons, Josiah Taylor, Julius Pierce, Javon DeWitt, who was a former coach at FAU, like, they didn't say the words FAU one single time. They said they don't have the respect. They haven't earned our respect to say their name. And when we asked Julius Pierce was about to mention a couple players on their team, he said they don't have the respect to even have their name come out of my mouth. So, I love the way FIU is approaching this. Like, shout out to Willie Simmons, because I also think Willie comes from a background where rivalries at the HBCU level are kind of like their Super Bowl, right? And you have the HBCU national championship. Like, Willie Simmons hates Bethune-Cookman, and I don't know if he still hates them, but, like, that was his rival at FAMU. That was Bethune and FAMU, and Willie Simmons treated that game like a Super Bowl, and he told that. He didn't say specifically a Super Bowl, but, like, when you're in an HBCU where you really don't have much to play for, to be honest with you, unless you make the FCS playoffs, you're looking at a situation where it's just like, damn, like, this is our game. Like, this is our Ohio State-Michigan game, and I'm not saying that they need to treat it like to that level, but I am a little surprised that Kitley has kind of downplayed this to that level. Now, again, a lot of the guys on that team, really haven't been around for the Shula Bowl. I think Robbie mentioned this. Like, it's only 9 players that have taken snaps against FIU. So it's certainly a situation where, I see where they're coming from, kind of downplaying it. Obviously, they've won 7 in a row. What makes them think they're going to lose, right? But at the same time, you also have to take this seriously. Like, FIU is going to turn their team up a notch. They're going to turn things up a notch, and you're going to their place. It's not like FIU's coming to you. You're going to them, and I can promise you that place is going to be packed out. It's going to be a good crowd, is what I've been told. So FIU had close to 20,000 in the first game against Bethune-Cookman, and FAU fans are going to come down for this game. FIU is going to have a lot of people. There's a pig roast.
Show them what they're getting.
There's a pig roast that's happening prior to the game that a lot of people signed up for. The Hall of Fame event's happening. TY may be in the house for this game. So it's a big game, and I think both sides need to treat it like a big game. And, yeah, I just don't think there's any other way to put it. Like, there's a lot of people, when you look at Ohio State and Michigan, for example, they go, yeah, we won the Natty, but we lost to Michigan. So I think, obviously, if you win the CUSA championship or you win the American, like, hell yeah. But, like, you still lost the little brother, or you still lost the big brother, whatever you want to call it, right? So I am surprised Kitley's played it down to the point that, he really doesn't talk much about the rivalry. I remember Herman kind of talking it up a little bit more from what I remember. I don't know what Willie Taggart did, but I definitely know McIntyre spoke it up quite a bit. FIU, for some reason, always hypes it up more than they should, maybe. But I like it. That's what you need in these type of games.
I will say, I think internally they understand that this is still a game, right? Like, I think internally, I will tell you, right, like, Alex Atkovich, one of the team captains, has been here for multiple tenures, has been here for multiple Shula Bowls. He's one of the few guys who played snaps last year, one of the few 9 guys, as you mentioned, right? Like, I think internally they know that this is a game you got to win. Like, they're not making that a secret internally. I just think they're not going to try and overplay it in the media, which is that a good strategy? Is that a bad strategy? I don't quite know, but I do think it's important to mention that internally, these guys know that they have to win this game. They know that what this game means to the fan base, what this means to the people involved, right? Like, they are well aware that this is a game you got to win.
Good points there to be made. So both teams are handling this game very differently as far as their excitement level, but there's one thing you can't deny. The winner of this game gets their second win of the season, and there's only 12 games in the college football season, so every win is precious, especially this early on. So I'll ask another open question here. Before that, by the way, what are the fans getting when they go to Pitbull Stadium, Mr. Kevin?
This actually benefits both teams, in my opinion. So this is actually pretty cool. First 5,000 got a cool. It's pretty cool. It's more FIU oriented, but shows both teams game number. It's obviously in Miami, so got to show off the Pitbull stuff. And
yeah, I love the Pitbull face in this one.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Pitbull actually, did what he had to do, part of his contract. He actually put out a post. So there we go.
Hey, dale. But going back to what I originally did want to ask, this is going to be win number 2 for one of these teams. Who needs it more this early on in the season, considering what's to come for both teams? For FIU, you take on some of the best teams in Conference USA, such as Western Kentucky, Liberty, Jacksonville State. For Florida Atlantic, you take on some of the best teams in the American, being ranked South Florida, Navy, Tulane, and both teams also happen to take on UConn. Coincidental, right? Who needs this win more right now?
They both need it equally, in my opinion.
I'll co-sign that. I'll co-sign that. I don't think either team. I don't think either team has a schedule for the rest of the year where they can just kind of lose this game and feel good about 5 other games on the schedule. FIU have to play some of the best teams in Conference USA, and while I get the Conference USA is not quite as good as the American, there's still some good feisty football teams in that conference. And FAU, man, this schedule doesn't get any easier. You have to go play Navy. You have to go play Tulane. You have to play a UConn team that took Syracuse down to the wire. There are plenty of games in here that are going to be tough results, tough games. So I don't think there is a team here that feels like they got to win this game more. Both teams need to get to 2 wins, man, because it's a lot easier to win 4 games than it is to win 5 games.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, as we start to close up shop here, we're getting, fellas, can you start to smell it? Can you start to smell the game day atmosphere that we're getting ourselves into?
I did not realize we're recording this on Thursday. It drops the day after. I did not realize we're literally 2 days away from this game. So I'm very happy that's the case. But now that I'm saying it, it's just going to be even longer. But we'll see. If you don't think about it, it moves on pretty quick.
That's kind of hard to not think about it, though.
That's true. Yeah.
How can we convince you to go to this game, Mr. Fielder? What do we got to do?
Make that drive any easier, truthfully. I don't know if you guys have had to make the drive up from FIU to Boca.
Hey,
that drive sucks. It sucks even more having to deal with southbound traffic from Lake Worth area, from middle of Palm Beach County.
Saturday, so it's not as bad.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
But Saturday traffic, rush hour. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. We got
because this is not like a 12 o'clock game where you could just leave at 8 a.m. and avoid all the rush hour.
No,
kind of got to deal with it. And so I'll go to one of these games as a fan eventually. I've not been to a Shula Bowl as a fan ever because I've been on the media side of things. I will go eventually. I just don't think this is the year to do it. Also, with rain, I don't really want to sit in that stadium when it rains. I've done it before. I don't want to do it again.
Would not blame you.
We made the trip from FIU to Boca not once but twice last season for the Shula Bowl as well as the Boca Raton Bowl. So, what's the name of that pizza shop we went to that had some really fire pizza on the way out? I can't remember.
I have no clue. It was like the most random pizzeria I've ever seen. So,
but it was very good though.
There's a lot of those in Boca, and they're all good. I can't quite explain it.
I like Losado.
Laspada's look. I think we could both agree on one thing. Laspada's rules.
It is pretty good.
We can agree on that. Oh, okay.
Jake, please.
Jake,
what?
don't start. Don't start.
Pop subs are great.
We finally. Yeah, I will also agree on pump subs. I mean, you don't have to fool me twice. I mean,
well, we're getting closer and closer, gentlemen, and as I am well aware, the Shula Bowl garners an MVP for both sides of the rivalry, being FIU and Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, I had no clue this was still a thing. I found out like the other day when I was like looking at an FAU recap from the game last year. I was like, oh, Eric Rivers was the MVP of the Shula Bowl for FIU. Good to know.
sure.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
The least hyped MVP award ever.
No, like each team gets one. Like FIU got one, FAU gets one. So both guys got one. So Eric Rivers, I'm gonna search this up. Eric Rivers, I know was the one.
T.Y. Hilton got one.
Yeah, in 2010, and they still lost. So
I don't remember who it was for FAU.
It was like it was a defensive player. You would have thought it'd be like Zuberi Mobley or whatever his name was. I'm finding.
I guess we're all searching this up, Mr. Fielder. Let me ask you: why does Florida Atlantic hate the color red?
I found it. Graduate defensive back Wendell Phillord, I think is how you say it.
Wendell Phillord, who's on the team this year, so maybe he can become a back-to-back MVP winner.
He had two tackles and one forced fumble. That's what gets you an MVP.
That's what gets you an MVP. Damn.
And Eric Rivers had the first touchdown of the game. So
I do remember.
I feel like if you look at what FAU's offense was that game, kind of not a surprise that an offensive player didn't win it.
Why does Florida Atlantic hate red? The color red, Fielder. It feels like they've dropped red from their uniforms, from their overall aesthetic.
Well, let's be clear. They're dropping it this year because it's the 25th anniversary. Howard Schellenberger did not enjoy the color red. So there is a reason as to why they don't wear the color red this year.
Do they still have the stand jerseys?
Yes, I don't think they'll wear them this year again because they're kind of going back to the past with Howard Schellenberger. I love the stand jerseys. I'm a sucker for a good stand jersey. I'm also a sucker for a good red jersey, man. So I think they will come back with one eventually. It's just probably not the year to do it with. You kind of trying to pay tribute to the legend who is Howard Schellenberger.
Well, let's see how you all pay tribute to your respective schools right now, because it's time to make some predictions, including your Shula Bowl MVPs. And because of how ridiculous it is, I want it for both teams, for both of you, for FIU and FAU. That's correct. I want MVPs for both sides. Let's see if you boys actually know ball here. Since it's so crazy, we're going to start off with Kevin Barral, who's already made this prediction. But who's winning? Who's your MVP for both FIU and FAU?
FIU will win the Shula Bowl, of course.
Yes.
By a final score of 34-31. I think it'll be an extremely fun and close game, but I do think it'll come down to the wire. FIU's MVP, I'm going to go with Dallas Payne. He was used quite a bit in the first half of the Penn State game. He's the FIU's tight end number 0. He's quite a bit in that first half of the Penn State game. Just didn't get the usage in that second half. I want to change up the MVP look here. And then for FAU, I'm going to go Easton Messer. I think he's going to be a big, big piece for this FAU offense. And I really think that FIU is going to have a tough time to stop him, like a lot of teams in the American will and UConn. So FIU wins the Shula Bowl. They snap the streak, and I think it'll be a good night at Pitbull Stadium.
By the way, Mr. Fielder, I guess this is technically a spoiler alert because at this time it hasn't dropped, but we ran a simulation in the college football video game, and you would not believe.
You have to play it for him.
Oh my gosh, you would not believe it. Hang on, I gotta re-upload it here, but I do have it. It is
this was a pretty funny simulation.
It is absolute cinema for the Panthers, who pulled it off in the most dramatic of fashions. So I do think it is kind of silly to have an MVP for both teams in the rivalry. It
really just doesn't make sense.
They've done this since the start. So I don't know. I guess FAU chose them themselves because these used to be media votes, but it is no longer that.
Hey, Mr. Fielder, watch this.
I know how to sum up this game succinctly. That was fun, and what a victory to remember.
Fun for them, fun for us, just the back and forth, games that are so nip and tuck. And every play matters so much. These are the games that we love to call.
Yeah, every play matters, David, and that's why coaching staffs practice.
Yeah, in case you kind of missed it, that's a triple overtime W for the FIU Panthers. Without a doubt, EA now finally knows ball. But anyway.
There's a reason it's just a video game. Let's be clear.
Come on.
Okay, all Mr.
I
Confident.
would literally jump off Tamiami building if FIU lost like that. Nosedive right down the building.
I would go on a deep search to find out who these pissers are on both campuses for FIU.
They
and
caught the FAU one. You guys saw
They
it?
did catch the FAU one.
Yeah. But like,
Can't believe
they
I know
don't
about
actually
this.
but I don't think they actually piss.
No, I think they just use a water bottle.
They use like a Gatorade or like one of those Gatorade things that you like push and it shoots out.
I think they just use like a water bottle. I don't think they're like actually doing
I
it.
think the one them pissing on the actual statue was actual piss. The rest of them I think were actually water.
probably piss in the Sun Belt. Oh, okay.
Whoa.
All righty then. Mr. Fielder, the time has come. We need to know who's winning the Shula Bowl, in your opinion.
Well, we know who's winning. He just has to go to the score.
We need your opinion. Who's winning and the MVPs on both sides of the ball for FIU and FAU.
FAU by 100. No, okay. In all seriousness, I think FAU does win this game. I think they win this game kind of comfortably, not super comfortably. Give me FAU 37, FIU 30. The MVP for FIU, just because I think he has the coolest name in college football, Chainsaw Chaney. Give me him for FIU MVP. There's precedent that a defensive player can win it. And then for FAU, I'm going to go with wide receiver Asad Wasim. Had 2 touchdowns last week, had a touchdown against Maryland. He's got a really good start. He's built a good connection with quarterback Caden Veldkamp. He's a deep threat. He's a guy who can take the top off the defense. I think he'll score again on Saturday to help lead FAU to another victory over Little Brother and let that trophy have just a little bit longer in paradise.
They have to like bring this trophy all the way back, and in the case that FAU does win, they have to like just drive it all the way back up, which is pretty
well.
fun.
I mean, it gets a front seat on the bus back. I mean, it's like it gets its own little party bus. I mean, I think there's no issue with that.
Well, when the trophy is getting carried right back into the Kirkland and Fieldhouse, that'll be pretty fun.
Can we make another prediction then? I feel like we can make one more prediction on the show.
Go for it. What is it?
Am I allowed to propose this?
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, the tradition is that the winning team rips the helmet off the jersey or rips the helmet off the trophy. So, Kevin, FIU wins this game. Who's the first one to rip the helmet off the trophy?
Julius Pierce.
You got exactly. Julius Pierce. He's been here. He's technically been here the longest. So yes, he will rip off the helmet. Who do you think rips it off for the Owls?
I was going to give a similar answer as to someone who's a vet on this team. Alex Atkovich, a longtime senior. He's been here for a while. This is really the only way this happens is if he's not in the game, obviously. If you're in the game, you can't quite run over there and rip the trophy off. So I'll say that FAU finishes the game on defense. And Alex Atkovich, in his final Shula Bowl, gets to finally rip off that helmet and gets to celebrate a little bit more with the trophy that he's only won at FAU.
It's still pretty sad that that's the only trophy he's ever won at FAU, but yeah.
But he's won it multiple times. Let's be clear. It's not like he's only won it once.
It's the same exact trophy.
Well, I feel like every time you get to win that trophy, it feels just a little bit better. I mean,
okay. It'll feel great, when it's, again, in that little glass case at FIU complex.
Okay. Well, I after all the controversy surrounding the end of those rivalries, not for the Shula Bowl, for the big rivalries, are we going to see a flag planting and then an ensuing brawl right after?
I don't think we'll get flag planting.
No,
I feel
what? I want to get this prediction, Fielder. I said, and you know what? This kind of falls in for FAU. I don't think FIU and FAU fans know how to storm a field.
I don't think so. They haven't had to do it.
So, do you think if FIU wins, do you think they'll actually storm the field?
No, I don't think they will. Largely because A, I don't think they know how to. B, I think that can you really storm? I don't know on the field layout there. I feel like it's kind of weird.
It is a little weird.
Is it stormable?
It's a short hop. onto the field.
It's a pretty.
I will tell you, the last time FAU has had to storm a field was the conference championship game under Lane Kiffin when they played North Texas. That's the last time I remember them storming the field.
Was it a good field storm? Like
it was a good field storm from the students. Now, I believe the students in that game were in the end zone, so it's a little bit easier to storm the field instead of from the opposing sideline where they're at now. But I still remember it being a solid field storming. As for this game, I don't see a field storming either way.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up shop here? Anything else we'd like to let out now? Like just for some on the record stuff?
FIU's gonna win.
FAU by 100. That's all I got.
FIU by 1,000. Okay, you can end it now, Jake.
Alrighty then. Thank you all for watching the Shula Bowl podcast. Next week, one of us is going to be really happy and the other really sad as we find out who wins the Shula Bowl, and then we check out what's upcoming for both squads, as I believe the Owls take on Memphis and the Panthers take on Delaware. Have a great night, everybody. Go watch the Shula Bowl. Attend it if you can.
Go Owls.
Let's see what happens, everyone. Best of luck.
Pause up.